Hello and welcome to another episode of Mike Talks About Subaru. Today I'm going to take you through the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek with option package 14. What that package adds on is going to be the moonroof, a powered driver's seat, heated seats, heated mirrors, wiper de-icer, blind spot detection, and rear cross traffic alert. You're also going to have keyless access and entry with push button start. Off, your key is going to look like this. The top button is going to be lock. The Subaru emblem will be unlock. You press it once to unlock the driver's door, twice to unlock everything. The bottom black button is going to unlock the trunk, and then the final button is your panic alarm, which if you press that will sound the horn and flash the headlights. When it comes to locking and unlocking keylessly, key has to be in your pocket or in your hand or in your purse, as long as it's near the door handle. You've got these little lines here. All you have to do is rest a finger on those lines, and that has locked the car. When it comes to unlocking it, all you've got to do is, again, with the key near the handle, put your hand in the door cup, and that's going to unlock. If your key is in the car and you try to lock it, it will not allow you to. The only way you can actually lock your key in the car is if you use your other key or use the My Subaru app. Starting left to right in the car, we're going to have your mirror adjustment right here. L for the left, R for the right, and then it's just a joystick to move the mirror around. Lock, unlock, you've got your front windows, rear windows, and the window lockout function. On the dashboard, you'll have your dial that does the brightness for your dash lights and the radio. All the way down is dim. All the way up, it's going to be full bright, and then you've got any place in between there. When it comes to starting the car, the key does have to be in it. If you attempt to start it with no key, it will give you a message in the display center up here that is going to tell you that the access key is not detected. If you try to start it without your foot on the brake, what's going to happen is the first click turns on your radio. Second time you press it, it starts the car without actually starting it. So basically it turns on all the fans and everything like that. Press it a third time and everything turns off. Now your radio will stay on until it either times out or you open the driver's door. So your foot does have to be on the brake. That's going to light up the green light, and then it's just push that to go. Coming behind the steering wheel, you're going to have your headlights. You have off, auto, where they turn on automatically when it's dark enough. It also does the high beam assist. So on auto and high beam, what's going to happen is anytime there's tail lights ahead of you, headlights coming at you, street lights coming down on you, they will automatically dim to low beam and go back to high beam when it's safe. Now, even in the daytime, when it's not dark out, so the headlights wouldn't be on full blast, there is a daytime running light that's on, so headlights are always going to be on anytime the car's in gear. This is going to turn on your parking lights only, and this is headlights on all the time. The inside knob is going to turn your fog lights on and off, and then if you've got your blinker to the right, blinker to the left. To the right hand side, you're going to have your wiper wand. Down one click is intermittent, second click is low, third click is high. Pull the whole thing towards you, we'll squirt your windshield. The inside knob is going to control the speed of the intermittent wiper. So all the way up, it's going to be the longest pause in between, all the way down, shortest pause. The outside knob controls your rear wiper. If you roll it backwards, it's going to squirt your rear window until you release it, and then give it a few swipes to clean things off. Up one click is intermittent for the rear. Up again is continuous for the rear wiper, and you can also roll it forwards, and that's going to squirt the rear window as well. Behind the steering wheel here, you have paddle shifters, so that's a shift down and shift up. So on your transmission, you're going to have your park, reverse, neutral, drive. Pop it over the left, and that puts you in a manual mode, and that's where you would use those paddle shifters. You can also use those intermittently while driving if you're without shifting into the manual mode. And what happens is if you've downshifted, it just goes to the next closest available gear for the CVT transmission. Same thing if you were to upshift. And then once the car feels it's necessary to do so, it will put it back into regular automatic mode. Buttons on the steering wheel itself, the left and right here will go through your preset stations. Source will switch between AM, FM, anything for auxiliary, Bluetooth radio, things like that, and XM radio. The toggle switch is going to change what you're looking at on the center heads-up display here, whether it's going to be your eco gauge or your individual tire pressure. You'll see that those right now are just a blank line because I haven't been driving. You do have to drive about half a mile for those to actually show you what each individual tire has for pressure. You'll also have the amount of time the auto start stop has been used, how much gas it's saved, how long the vehicle's been running, how far you've driven since you started it. So there's all sorts of different things that are visible up there. You also have the digital speedometer that shows up there all the time. The eye is occasionally you will get a little light on the dash here that is going to indicate that something's going on. Right now I don't really have anything happening with the car, but it would, if there were something up there, you would be able to press this button here and it would display a message up there telling you what that eye is referring to for the instance that you're using it. This is going to be pick up the phone, hang up the phone, or mute the radio. And this is your talk button. So your talk button, you can give commands to the radio, basically talking to the car. You can tell it things like tune to a certain radio station. You can adjust your temperature, you can adjust your fan speed. If you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto hooked up, you can tell it to navigate to wherever you want to go, anything like that. Below there, you're going to have your volume down and volume up. To the right hand side, this is where you control your cruise control. So to start cruise, you have to turn it on, and you'll see the little car with the lines in front of it up there. Those lines are indicating the distance between you and the lead vehicle that the car is locked onto for the adaptive cruise control. So what that's doing is, as you set your speed, maybe you've set it to 70 miles per hour and you catch up to somebody on the interstate doing 60, it is going to automatically slow you down and keep you a set distance between you and that lead vehicle. And if they come to a stop, it will bring you to a stop. So at toll booths or off ramps, that type of stuff, as long as that's active, your cruise control is active. So those lines can be adjusted with these two buttons here. So you can increase or decrease the distance between you and that lead vehicle. And think of each line as one car length. So you can have as little as 1 or as many as 4 car lengths between you and that lead car. Down on the toggle switch is going to be set, up is going to be resume and accelerate. This button turns on lane centering. So when you turn that on, you're going to see the little emblem there, and it tells you that it's ready. So lane centering will basically allows the car to assist you to stay centered between the line markings. It works only when cruise control is on and active. So instead of saying ready, if it were actually in use and doing its thing, that emblem would light up as green and the ready underneath it would disappear. Things to keep in mind with that is you are the driver. You are in control. You will feel hesitation in the wheel, left and right, because it is just trying to tell you, hey, this is where you should be. You should not use it in inclement weather. Generally speaking, cruise control should never be used in inclement weather anyways, but especially with this lane centering, because what can happen is, as opposed to picking up the lines in the road, the eyesight cameras may see the path created by the tires of the car ahead of you, and it may follow those instead. So don't use that in inclement weather at all, whether it's heavy rain or snow or any situation like that. On the bottom portion here, you have the S and the I. So those are two different driving dynamics. I stands for intelligent mode. That is the standard operation of the car. So every time you start it, it defaults to intelligent mode. That's just your everyday driving. The S is for sport mode. Basically what that's going to happen there is that's going to give you a sharper acceleration. And I'll show you right up there. So sharper acceleration, but you're going to get overall lower gas mileage. So it's just going to be your initial takeoff. Intelligent mode, it's a more of a lull on the takeoff. It takes you longer to get to that top speed versus getting there quicker. So again, you will consume more gas in sport mode, but it is a great feature for if you're passing or going up real steep hills and you want to keep speed. It's a great feature. Your steering wheel is going to be both tilt and telescopic. You'll find the release for that is right under the steering wheel, and that pulls it down towards the dash, and that's going to give us both our in and out and up and down for the steering wheel. And then you just push that back up, lock that in place so that it doesn't move around all nimbly bimbly. Heading over here to the radio. You do have a lot going on. If you are familiar with the touchscreen radio, if you've had one in the past, they're all very similar. Subaru has opted for the much larger icons to make things easier. If you're driving and you need to take your eyes off the road for a second, it's never safe, but they've made it as safe as you can by using these larger icons so that you're quick to see what it is you're trying to press. Now, they have made the option of doing everything by voice, as I mentioned earlier. So there's really no reason that you have to reach over and press this. But if you do, it's convenient. On the radio screen, all these buttons are pretty plain and simple as far as what they do. Radio brings you to your radio screen where you can choose FM, AM, XM radio. You've got your graphics equalizer button here. Programming in radio stations down here. If you find a station you like by tuning to it, you got your tuner knob here. Press and hold the number you want to program to. So I'm going to program in 92.9 to my number 3 station. It's already there, but I'm going to overwrite it. Press and hold, 3 seconds, it beeps at you. Done. That's all there is to it. The home plate button, that's going to be the home screen. Volume is located to the left out here. The media button is going to bring you to the media selection screen. So what that is if you want to use Bluetooth, if you want to stream music from your phone or from another Bluetooth device, if you want to use media plugged in through the auxiliary port, that's all going to be right in that media selection. The phone button, as soon as you press that, that is going to bring up the phone screen and ask you if you'd like to pair a device if you haven't had one paired yet. If you do have it, it's just going to bring you to your phone selection stuff, so your dialing pad and messages, things like that. If you have your Android Auto active or the Apple CarPlay active, it will use the Google or the Apple version of your phone screen instead of the car native phone screen. You can also use your navigation or anything that's driver friendly when you have the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto active. It is wireless on this vehicle. Some of the lower trim levels, it is not a wireless, but on the premium package, it is a wireless feature. The apps button, basically in there, you've got your Android Auto, your Apple CarPlay, Travel Link, which is through Sirius XM, and My Subaru. My Subaru, if you have the subscription for the Subaru Starlink, My Subaru will give you access to the roadside assistance and the vehicle maintenance scheduler, as well as concierge services if you've signed up for My Starlink concierge. Travel Link is going to be through SiriusXM. What that does is it gives you different things such as local weather, weather alerts, parking locations, local fuel prices, sports updates, stock updates. So that's going to be something that you'll have for the first 4 months for free for purchasing a new Subaru. But after that, that's up to you if you want to keep it or not. The button will always be there, but you won't have access to it if you don't have the SiriusXM full subscription or full access. Car info, this is just going to bring up what your angle of approach is. So you have your side to side and your degree of incline and your maintenance selection as well. Now you're going to see on here that we have it set for 3,000 miles for your oil and oil filter. So Subaru, they don't require 3,000 mile oil change, but as a dealer who is invested in our clients, we want to make sure that your car is going to treat you right for years and years and hundreds of thousands of miles. So we do suggest having a 3,000 mile oil change, just to kind of a break-in oil change. And then your first regular scheduled service, you'll see the tires there. That's a 6,000 mile service, so you'd have your tires done, engine oil change, stuff like that. After that, your services are every 6,000 miles or as needed, depending on which comes first. If you want to turn this display off, maybe you're driving at night and the lights from the display are bothering your eyes, you just press that button and the display will turn off. It just gives you a little message about how to turn it back on. So if you want to turn it back on, all you have to do is press and hold the volume button and it will come back on. Top left corner is going to be your hazard lights, so your four-way flashes. Up top you have widgets that you can scroll through. So this is going to be your what radio station you're on. If you actually press that, it's going to bring you right to your radio screen. Here you have your engine temperature, oil temperature, and your average speed. Now you can actually go in here with this one and you can program button 1, 2, and 3 to be any of these items versus what's default up there. Next one's going to be your weather, and then X mode. Now X mode, if you're not familiar with the Subarus, is a more aggressive, more responsive all-wheel drive that works up to 18 miles per hour. It also includes hill descent control. When that is active, what that means is if you're in a situation like a very slippery hill or a steep hill that's kind of loose gravel, that type of thing, that you're going to be traveling down, and you have X mode on, whatever your approach speed is, when you hit that point, it's going to keep the car at that speed going down the hill by using the braking and the all-wheel drive, so it can control that speed. So you're not braking, that way you don't have to worry about going into a slide or anything like that. You can concentrate on steering. So you can turn that on and off from right there. And there's also another location, which I will show you, that you can do that from. Climate control, you've got your front defrost here, rear defrost here. The rear defrost button also turns on your heated side mirrors as well as the wiper deicer. It stays on for 15 minutes, turns itself off so that your elements don't burn out. When it comes to adjusting the temperature of the car, you've got a couple options. So this button here is going to do driver's temperature. This button over here is going to adjust the passenger side temperature. Now you see right here it says front. What that's telling us is that the car right now is blowing air to keep just the front seat at the set climate control. You press the all button, and that's going to make it so it's doing the entire car. If you have everything synced up, what can happen is it will do front, all, or if you have just started the car and there's nobody else occupying it, it'll do just driver, and that will actually show you driver there. So it actually just blows more air to the driver's side than any place else, just to keep the driver at a comfortable temperature, and basically it reduces or increases gas mileage by reducing power consumption. Now if you press this button any place in where it's telling us what the temperature is, you can choose where you want it to blow down here, or how you want it to blow up here. So auto is where it's going to blow automatically to keep the car at the temperature you have it set to, and it's going to choose fan speed and where it's going to blow. Next button turns on your air recirculator, which you would use to recirculate the air inside the car. So typically speaking, you would use that when you're using the AC, so that it's taking the cold air that's in the vehicle and making it colder, versus taking the hot air from outside and cooling that consistently or constantly. You also have your AC and maximum AC. You can drag and drop to adjust temperature here. You can use the arrows here, or you can also still use the arrows to the outside to set the temperature, and you can sync or turn off the sync for the temperature selection. You have the on off here for climate control, and then your fan speed is located down here. Now if you wanted to adjust the temperature vocally instead of pressing the buttons, you would press the talk button here.
Please say a command.
Set temperature to 70 degrees.
Okay, setting temperature to 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
And that's all there is to it. You could tell it to adjust fan speed or set fan speed to max or to 5, whatever you want to set to. Tune to Willie's Roadhouse or country radio, anything like that. Whatever you want to listen to, tell it what station you want, and it's going to go to it. So it's pretty simple there. One thing to note on the climate control is that the two outside vents do have a dial that you can turn them off and on. Now, a lot of times these cars, they come in with those closed. You'll want to make sure that you have those turned on when you drive your car, just to make sure that you're getting the airflow that you want and that you expect. Your heated seats are going to be down in the center console, so you have high to the middle is off and back is low. So driver side, passenger side. The parking brake is electronic. To engage it, all you have to do is pull up on it. If you are driving down the road and you pull up on it, it will beep at you. It won't actually engage unless if you pull up and hold it. It is a parking brake. They no longer refer to these as an emergency brake, because it's not really their intention. The idea behind a parking brake is that you use it when you're parked. It basically holds the brake or holds the wheels from moving, so that it's not relying just on the transmission pin to keep the car from rolling. And to turn that off, foot has to be on the brake, car has to be on, you push down on it. You do have a 12-volt port here. You can use the USB ports for charging, as well as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if your vehicle does, if your phone doesn't support the wireless Android Auto. You do have two USB ports in the rear of the console. One is going to be the 3 amp, one's 2.4, so one does more fast charging, the other is just your basic. Those are charge only. They do not connect to the radio. up above, we do have the moonroof here. You can open and close that shade, and then you have your buttons to either tilt the the moonroof to vent it, which I don't know if you can really see that here, but it does vent, so you open and close that. And then you do have the slide button to open and close the moonroof. If you want to turn your map lights on, you're in a parking lot and need to figure out where you're going, and you're not using GPS, you got to look at the old atlas. Just push the map button and that turns it on. This selector here, if you have it set to door, when you open your doors, those lights turn on. Same thing back here, if you have that set to door, when you open the door, those lights turn on. The SOS button you see up there and the blue button, those are for your Subaru Starlink safety and security. SOS is for medical emergency response, and the I is for roadside assistance. The visors do have vanity mirror with light, and they do come off there. That does expand, so you have quite of adjustability with that. I think essentially that runs down all the features and everything of this car. If you have questions, please put them in the comments below, and do me a favor and like and subscribe if this video has helped you. Thanks for tuning in.